Now, the National Department of Tourism and South African Tourism today introduced a new domestic tourism campaign directed at growing the number of domestic travelers in our country. South Africans are invited to escape the daily grind of day-to-day living and become a nation of fun seekers this September. Thulani Nzima, the CEO of South African Tourism, joins us in studio for details of this campaign. Thulani, thank you so much for making the time to join us. Now, how does South Africa's domestic tourism fare with international tourism?
Thank you very much for inviting me, first of all. We're not doing as good as we would love to. Most of the countries that are doing very well in terms of domestic tourism internationally have got a component of their domestic tourism upwards of about 80–90%. We are sitting at about 72% if we look at the figures of the past year. So we realize that indeed it is very important for us to start dominating that as the backbone of our tourism. It is also about lessons learned in the past few years when we had the economic recession. The international markets are very volatile and the switching ability of these markets is very quick. So for us to have stability in the tourism environment, we need to start by making sure that we do have a very solid domestic tourism. So encouraging South Africans to travel their own country like tourists is the first starting point for us.
Talk us through the fundamentals of this campaign. How exactly are you aiming to attract South Africans to start exploring their backyard?
Well, when we talk to South Africans and doing our own research, there are two things that actually jump out. Firstly, people say, give us a reason to travel. So tell me why I must travel. So we're saying, yes, the reason to travel is go spoil yourself, go and make new friends, go and reward yourself, go and have fun. So that's the first important thing. The second one is it affordable? Right. Yes, it is affordable. To make sure that indeed it is affordable and you can reach those kind of packages, we have put together for this campaign about 80 different packages, but we are going to continue to do so. To make sure that people have access to these packages. And also working with the key stakeholders in the industry is very important. That kind of cooperation is the one that is going to bring about affordability.
We often hear of this very interesting target of being in the top 20 by 2020. Are we on track?
We are very much on track. I think there are a few milestones that you need to understand to measure how far you are. The first one is continuously we have been outperforming our counterparts globally. South Africa's tourism growth last year was at 10.2%. The global trend was at only 4%. The year before that, we had a growth of 3.3% on top of the Soccer World Cup numbers, and the world was growing at 4%.
Again on international travelers.
Indeed, I'm talking international now. And if you remove the impact of the Soccer World Cup in 2011, we actually grew 7.4%. So we're doing very, very well indeed, and our growth, interestingly, has come from across the regions, unlike just focusing on one particular region, which is a little bit risky. We diversified our investment at the right time when markets were softening.
Previous campaigns to allure South Africans to begin traveling, we've seen the Short Left, which was your first campaign, then we saw Vaya Mzansi. What are you taking away from those two campaigns and carrying it through to this campaign? And are there any lessons that you're making sure that you stay away from certain strategies?
Yes, we are taking quite a lot of lessons. Firstly, the first Short Left campaign was targeting a very narrow segment of the market. It was in the up-and-coming black market, which traditionally was not participating. Then the other thing that we took out of the Short Left is the kind of excitement that people have, the desire to travel. And it became some kind of a very cliche thing to take a short left, and you know, although at the beginning people didn't quite understand what it was, but the uptake was very good. The other thing is that we built some equity from the Short Left campaign, and there was quite a lot of value. When we went to Vaya Mzansi, the idea was to take it the next step and increasing even the base in terms of the various segments. But it didn't quite hit the mark. And we were the first to admit that we needed to revamp it, and we revisited that. The current campaign that we've got, nothing is more fun than taking a Short Left to various provinces. Right. It's really about the middle ground between what Short Left delivered, the previous Short Left, as well as Vaya Mzansi, and making sure that this time when we kickstart the campaign, we have lots of fun. We are going to identify a lot of tourism ambassadors, and very influential personalities that we are going to be using. The media is a very important target for us as a platform to communicate and excite South Africans to do this. So there is quite a lot that we are taking.
Building on some of the strengths from your first short-left campaign, let's look at the demographics. Are we seeing a new traveler in South Africa domestically? Very
much so. You must just keep in mind that today, everybody is looking, from a consumer point of view, the biggest consumers are coming from the black communities. If you look at who consumes products like vehicles, the luxury vehicles, it's the black middle class that's coming up. So yes, we are seeing a big change in that. But when we go out there, our segmentation of the market has been around lifestyle. And you find that young people like yourself, when you look at the consumption of products, it's not so much about who you are, the color, and so on and so on. It's much more about the lifestyle, the kind of people that consume things the way you do, the way you consume media. It's exactly the same way that a young, white lady will be consuming media. So it's around those kind of things, lifestyle and certain demographics. Yes, we are still very conscious of that, and this is demonstrated by the choice of media platforms that we are using. Very
quickly, Thulani, of course, I know that you have partnered with a range of trade partners to get this campaign off the ground that are participating in the long-term strategy. But is this translating into one, accessibility and value for the non-traveler who might now be enticed to take a short left?
Yes, I think I was talking about the concept of price. It is in fact a perception of price. It is not very expensive to travel. So the packages that we've got will range from about 200, 250 Rand, depending on the experience that you want to go through. But here's the thing about travel. The campaign that we're talking about now, it disrupts your current pattern of consumption, where when you're under stress, you buy the latest cell phone, you buy the latest pair of sunglasses, instead of taking a trip and spoiling yourself. So yes, we are making sure that the kind of packages that are out there will give us traction, will make sure that we reach the right type of people, and it will grow the base.
Thulani, thank you so much for making the time to join us. Of course, that was Thulani Nzima, CEO of South African Tourism.